Okay, it's Wednesday. This is the stuff we've put out. We're going away for a couple of hours. Let's see if it's still here when we get back. Or let's see what's still here. This is what we're throwing out for the council cleanup. I had to upgrade it to large. Everything except that tree. Thought I'd make this video now because it's going to look weird later on to my de facto me just talking outside the house. We're moving out. T-minus 4 hours. We're just doing the end of lease clean right now, and it has been a punish, but we're there. Now let me talk about Kensington. I don't want to be too negative about Kensington as a suburb because I think that what it is now is not how it probably started. I think that if you look at the history, there's a beautiful monastery a couple of streets that way, beautiful old school, some amazing Federation buildings, a lot of history. And I suspect that like when Randwick Racecourse started, it was established years ago, that a lot of this was a, what you call, agrarian environment, maybe even semi-rural. It probably would have started back in the 1930s. I can't verify that, but so a lot of the infrastructure that's here now wasn't there then, so it would have been a nice quiet place to live. And let's start on the positives. It's convenient to the city. There are things like the light rail. You can get there really quickly. You can, catch a bus quickly. There's heaps of ways to enjoy the environment. There's Centennial Park as well. And just walking around, and you can see that it's kind of like a, what would you call it, a sleepy residential area, but in reality it's not. It's kind of in the middle of a triangle, in the middle of a storm. So there's that to deal with. Anyway, I could go on about the negatives, and I don't want to be overly negative, but the number one problem with this lease that we have with Kensington is this bike path. Before you jump on, you say, oh, you hate bikes and cyclists, and everyone starts getting on and making comments. I'm a cyclist myself. I love the convenience of this bike path, but a lot of the responsibility for behaviour has been handed over to the cyclists. And in the age of lithium and e-bikes, this bike path is a real problem. It's the number one reason why we decided to move out. And as I said, I'm not against it because it's very convenient when I'm using it, right? But I count myself as a responsible cyclist. I always put a helmet on. I always imagine the worst is going to happen. I'm always looking out for people darting out. I'm always looking for old ladies, because when I grew up, you would never ride your bike on the footpath. You have a manual bicycle, and you can really tell the difference between a conventional bicycle and these e-bikes, which come out apparently regulated with a governor on them, but they're not really. They're easy to hack. And you've got a small economy running along this bike path. Right. Beautiful timing. So that lady there doing Uber Eats deliveries, another guy on an e-bike. So they're all delivering stuff, and that's a real issue. Oh my God, hang on. What's going on there? I'm back. That was my mother-in-law dropping off some food because we're just under the pump here with this clean. And I did just get some McDonald's, which we never order, for lunch. Anyway, getting back to this bike path. So it's good intentions gone back, and bad. If you look at European cities, they've had sort of hundreds of years to develop the bike path, but this thing's just been slapped in the middle of this residential area, and then it just creates so many problems. I've done a whole video on this before. I could go on about it. The road's narrower. When you walk out here, or if you're driving a car in, whether you're reversing in or reversing out, or nosing in or nosing out, you've got to deal with pedestrians, and now you've got to deal with 2 lanes of bikes, and then you've got to deal with the road traffic. And because the roads are narrower, you've got to deal with it on both sides. And then on a Saturday morning, you'll have legions of cyclists coming over the mammals in their lycra. And that's not really a problem, right? Because I used to think, why don't they use this bike path? Well, it's too narrow. For one, it's more dangerous. You've got a pack of those guys, and the ongoing and leaving lanes both directions are too close because there's the risk of hitting handlebars, and then you're forced to go to the other side of the road when you get up to Centennial Park anyway. So I don't blame the cyclist going to Centennial Park, going on the road itself, and there's less risk. I think there'll be less risk for everyone not having this path. So, there's risk for pedestrians. Every day you have to come out, you want to go to the car, you have to look left and right. And in fact, about 6 months ago, there was an accident. Like 2 bikes had a head on because someone wasn't concentrating about, 100 meters up that way. Myself and my son were first on scene, and then they got the ambulance, 2 ambulances, and broken bones and all sorts of shit was going on. So I think this is good intentions gone bad. I think the problem with it, the biggest problem is, and I'm predicting this now, and that's why I'm putting this on YouTube, that someone is going to die. Someone is going to get hit by these ungoverned lithium bikes, and they're going to get a head injury, and they're going to get killed. And then someone in government is going to have to pay the price for that, because this never should have been put in here, or it should have been put somewhere else. This is a terrible, terrible idea. That's why we are getting the fuck out of here. I've spoken. I'll speak to you when it happens, and unfortunately it's going to. Have a great day.